AAA games like to repeat themselves, don't they? They play it safe rather than take some risks to make their experiences feel fresh. Whilst Far Cry Primal took a risk with its setting, all the other elements of this game you've seen before. However, Primal's extremely well realised world does make up for a few of its flaws. The interesting game world is backed up by a particularly simple story. Essentially, you enter a new land as main character Takar, then you unite your tribe to take back the land from the other evil tribes, but it's massively helped by the supporting characters who again are simple yet well done. The story's main goal of uniting Takar's tribe and building them up is one of the main components of the game. As you scour the land, you'll collect tons of different resources to upgrade yourself and your village. This is obviously familiar to anyone who's played Far Cry before, but I haven't grown tired of this mechanic yet, despite it being in 4 Far Cry games. Yet is the key word there though. These village upgrades have benefits to you, unlocking new skills and crafting recipes. No matter what upgrades you get though, it will not save you from the game's awful melee combat system. Obviously due to its setting, there is more of an emphasis on up close and personal punch-ups, but there's no sense of weight to weapon swings, no sense of impact, and most irksome, there is no dodge or block ability. So when a bear attacks you in the middle of the forest, you just have to tank it, smashing the attack button and hope for the best. You can run away, but a lot of animals are faster than you, which can lead to a lot of annoying deaths. You can play around this, there are plenty of ranged options as well as taming animals. You can use them to tank enemies whilst you take them down when they are distracted. Also, stealth is an option. Sadly, it's still awful, as it has been since Far Cry 3. Enemies spot you in foliage, and when you take down an enemy with an arrow while stealth, enemies around the area still come towards your position, even though they should have no idea where the arrow came from. It can be functional, but should have been massively improved for this entry considering its focus on getting up close and personal. The ranged combat is immensely satisfying. There's a nice wet thud when you throw a spear into someone's face or nail an unaware tribesman in the back of the head with your bow, but it's not something you can always fall back on since many enemies are melee focused. Sadly, there's not much depth to much of the game really. Taming animals, one of the game's more interesting features, is disappointingly shallow. You just throw some raw meat at the animal, then hold square to tame it. You do all the familiar Far Cry things, hunt, capture outposts, though no climbing towers, you like bonfires instead. Sadly, the story missions don't offer much of a variety either, save a couple. So if you didn't like it before, this probably won't change your mind, since all the game does is use the series staples but with different devices. For example, instead of scouting outposts with a camera, you can use your owl, and these staples will be getting tired very soon. Despite all the muck I've brought up, there's plenty I like. The world is massively immersive with a lot of unique zones, and unlike most open worlds, there's quite a few memorable locations. Do you know what struck me about it quickly? No paths. That might sound small, but it went a long way for me. Also, going out at night is a lot more dangerous, and you have to light your weapons on fire to see and scare animals away, which I thought added a bit more personality to the world. The game is also really brutal with its violence in a way that suits its setting, and my god does it look nice. The environments and foliage look stunning. This, combined with the great atmosphere it sets with its sound design, really goes a long way to immersing you in the world. There's a few low-res textures here and there, but nothing deal-breaking. Also, character models look great, especially the facial animations. Seeing the look of shock on your enemy's face moments before you drive your spear through their neck really brings across the brutality. And you see all this HUD, you can turn it all off to go truly primal, which really does need to be in more games. To sum up, Far Cry Primal is okay, good, run-of-the-mill, inoffensive. But that's AAA games in a nutshell really, isn't it? I wouldn't recommend paying full price, but then again, no AAA game is worth full price. But as a rental, you could do a lot worse. It's got some good ideas, and it's really committed to its setting, which is the game's biggest strength. It's also a Ubisoft game that's single player and offline, and has no microtransactions. It's a shame we live in a world where that is celebrated, but it is commendable.